Yo, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the channel. Today we're gonna be doing a brief overview slash review of Paper Girls, the complete story. That's what it says here, the complete story. But other image books like this, they're usually called compendiums. So it's kind of like a Marvel omnibus if you're familiar with those, but except it's paperback instead of hardcover. That will be the main difference. More cheap, affordable price because it is a paperback, and you get the complete story. So if that's all you want, you don't care about extras, behind the scenes stuff, just the story. This is a great way to buy it. Very affordable, like I said. So let's talk about the physical build a little bit. Then we'll flip through a few of the pages. So here you see it says Paper Girls, and I don't know if the light's catching that, if it's picking that up. The see, like, look at here, the characters, they have this gloss finish to them. So do the letters over here. They have that same gloss finish. The rest of it, the background over here and so forth, is like a matte finish, right? Nice cover. Here's the back of the book. Cover price is $50. You get issues here, Paper Girls 1 through 30. That's the complete series. Here you get some, like blogs and stuff. People giving the kind of like a brief review and whatnot. And then you get the synopsis over here as well. Here's the NSRT for, where they gotta scan it and whatnot when you buy the book. Here's the spine, just as Paper Girls and the creative team behind it. And it has this logo here of an apple, which I'm not sure what that's supposed to mean, but it kind of reminds me of back in the days when you order books through school. Kind of remember seeing this apple logo before. So the writer here is Brian K. Vaughan. I'm a fan of his writing. I think he's a solid writer. Artist here is Chiang. And I gotta say, this is my first introduction into this artist. I've heard of him. I've seen his covers, like artwork like this. I thought it was, it's okay, serviceable. But after reading it here, like, I never actually read a book with his interior arts. And we'll get into that right now in a minute. Now, the book has these real nice, kind of like mud flaps, or as some people call them, the French flaps. They fold up like this. The other side has one as well. I really enjoy these because once you fold them, it makes this cover feel a lot more sturdier. So I really enjoyed that. Here you get the first page. It just says the complete story, Paper Girls. So it's a 30-issue story. Look at that. Bam, real nice right there. I really like all these colors they're using here. Very reminiscent of the late 80s, early to mid 90s. Especially here in California, we rocked a lot of those colors. I believe Miami did as well, like the show Miami Vice and all those. A lot of these fluorescent colors, the oranges, the greens. You get a lot of pictures with the sunsets like this. And then look at the bike, the handlebars with the brakes. It's real nice. So here it says, colors Matt Wilson, letters Jared K. Fletcher. Now the letterer on this, he did a real good job. Usually letters are something I don't always pay attention to, but sometimes I do. More the letters than the bubbles themselves. But here I paid attention to both, and again, we'll get into that once we get into the review part. Right now, I want to first talk about the physical build. Now at the end of the book, you get this. It says, because you demanded it, Paper Girls t-shirt, so and so. I don't think any of this is real, but it looks pretty cool. Again, more extras. Now what I like here is at the end, it shows you can also pick up the series in 3 hardcovers, and it says this one, look, foil cover. This one's like holographic foil. This one, the letters are as well. So is this one. So you could get 3 hardcovers, or you could get just this compendium. These hardcovers are online they're about $20 each, but cover price I think they're $30. So this would be $30, $60, $90, or you could buy this for $50, right? You'll get the same exact material, but I believe these will have a few more extras, and also the binding would be better if you like hardcovers and so forth. Although I will say the binding on this is real solid. And you could get it in this format, 6 trade paperbacks. To me, I think this is a real cheap, affordable price. Get nice art, and I enjoyed it this way out of the 3. Although the hardcovers will probably be the best route, but then you have to spend more money and buy 3 books. But I enjoy this over the 6 paperbacks. If this was hardcover, I would definitely buy it. If it was a omnibus, maybe guys, maybe down the road. And here I like it shows you the creators. Here's the letterer, color, writer, and artist, and you get all of them here. back in their junior high years, right? Back when they're like 12, 13. I thought that was real cool. And you could tell they had a lot of fun writing this, and I had a lot of fun reading it. So now let's get to, I'm gonna flip through a few of the pages and briefly talk about it a little bit without really trying to spoil anything. Okay, so this is the first page. You get this cover right here. It gets kind of like, it bleeds into the second page, almost like a splash page. But yeah, this is the cover to issue 1. They're like virgin covers. What I don't like is it doesn't say Paper Girls here or issue 1, so that you could kind of, I like when it says what issue it is, so you could keep track of what chapter or whatever you're in, right? So yeah, that's the cover to issue 1, and you see all these have this theme where they're just black, thick black inks, and all one color, right? The majority of them are like this until you get like halfway through the book. They kind of start adding a little more color to the covers. But yeah, that's the way that one looks. The other side of it is just black. Starts off with our main character here. She's Irene. It says here, yes, Irene. She's having this dream. She's holding this apple. Oh, maybe that's why the apple's on the spine. And she has this dream of this astronaut with wings. And look, this monster's here. And she finds out she's having some type of nightmare. So it's just a nightmare. And you get an idea of the colors. Look, they do this a lot. Pages like this. Like here's dark. So it's all just a lot of different shades of blue, right? Dark shades of blue, or light gray, or darker blue, and so forth. And then you have pages like this where you get a lot of orange, but here you also get a little bit of blue. Has more colors here, but you still see there's one clear path, right? There's like a lot more orange than the other colors. So you get these paper girls. They're up early in the morning, 4 or 5 in the morning, delivering their paper. They all stick together right here, so. It can be dangerous for 12-year-olds, 11-year-olds at that type of hours of the morning, right? Almost like it's still night, right? So when you're in a group, in case something happens, other people can go get help or whatever. So it's always safety in numbers, especially as a kid. And something weird's going down. You see these guys, they think they're your average burglars, but they are not. Look at this guy's eyes when they zoom in on them. Something funky is going down right there. I really enjoyed the art on this. Man, this guy, Chiang, like I said, it's my first time seeing his interior arts. The way he tells the story, moves the action, I really enjoyed it. The panel layouts, they're kind of simplistic, nothing special, but I like it. It fits, it's just fine. If I had any gripe with the art, would be maybe the facial expression sometimes can be repetitive, which is fine. It's not that big a deal to me, but I'm just, for the sake of the review, pointing that out to some people that there may be like, oh, a lot of the same faces over and over. Like I know people had that issue with Jim Lee a lot in the 90s. Like, oh, he draws a lot of the similar faces. So I'm just putting that out there that the characters do tend to make the same faces over and over. To me, like I said, that's not a big deal. So these kids come across this thing. As you can see it right here. It looks very alien looking, right? That shit looks crazy. If I was 10 and found something like this, I'd be tripping out. And so are these girls. They're tripping out on it. It's some type of alien device. So immediately I jumped to like, it reminded me of Stranger Things, right? So this is like, if you like movies like Stand By Me, shows like Stranger Things, you get all those type of shows, all those like 80s type of stuff. You get a heavy 80s feel here because they're supposed to be in the 80s. But this gadget here, it's like a time machine. So you don't get stuck in the 80s. You jump through time a lot, through a lot of different times and a lot of different situations. So the story wasn't exactly what I expected. I thought it was going to be like aliens, like Stranger Things, but it's much more time travel. And it nods a lot at different things going on in pop culture, if you will. Like we get a lot of logos of the Apple logo. And they're the aliens and stuff have that logo on their technology, and they're from the future. So these girls are like, oh, like Apple's gonna take over the future as far as technology goes, which I thought was kind of funny because for a while they kind of did, right? While what's his name, Steve Jobs was around, that's definitely what was happening. They've kind of taken a step back since he passed away. We don't have another creative mind like his, at least not at this moment. Okay, so here's the end to issue 1. And here's the thing, see, they found this on the aliens, and you see how it has the Apple logo, kind of what I was talking about earlier. And again, like I said, when one issue ends, you get the cover to the next issue, and it's kind of like all one color with black inks, right? Well, here it has 2 colors because it has that yellow. I really like the way they play with colors here. It's really kind of creative and so forth. I mean, it's been done before, but I like the way it looks, right? You use very little bit of colors, almost like a Sin City thing where they just throw one random color in there and it really pops. Again, it doesn't have the titles or anything, but I like that they included the covers because to me that's important. To some people, it's important. To some people, it's not. This I like when it has the cover, so I can know when I finish one issue. I kind of use it as like, okay, I finished that chapter. Start there tomorrow or later on, right? So this has all the covers. Hate it when they save all the covers to the end because you're just reading and you don't know when one issue has ended. You just keep going, right? And I'm not a fan of that. I like the covers to be in the order they belong, not all the way at the end. Now look at here. All of a sudden, we have these aliens again, these ninja burglar people. And look at here, what looks to be a dinosaur. So, there's these grown-ups. The grown-ups fly dinosaurs. They fly like pterodactyls and so forth. And the grown-ups are here to oppress the youth, kind of tell them what to do. And they're the bad guys. And they fly dinosaurs. So it's kind of funny that the artist did that. It's like saying, oh, you know, they're dinosaurs. They're out of touch with society, right? And they're here to oppress people like these kids, like these paper girls. Check it out right here. We have this vortex. And it's like kind of like it does like a skip through time, right? It's like a fracture in sky. So things from another dimension or another time will travel through here and come into our Earth, and vice versa. You could go through them and appear somewhere else, right? So this really reminded me of Stranger Things right here, this panel. So the first story arc, the first maybe 10 issues or so, really reminded me of Stranger Things. Then shit just went crazy. It got wild because then we started getting into caveman eras, into futuristic robots and kaijus. This book was all over the place. I could tell you this was a lot of fun to read. Love the art. The art was a lot of fun. Dialogue, story was let's say the dialogue and the art were a lot of fun. The characters were a lot of fun. The story was all over the place. So I was never bored with it. I enjoyed the whole thing. Haven't finished it yet. But I've been really enjoying it. So we'll see how the ending is if they wrap everything up real nice. Which the way it looks, I don't know what the ending's gonna be, because this takes you places that I didn't even picture or imagine. It went places where I wasn't expecting the book to go. All I could tell you is the plot is not necessarily the strong point, but it's fun nonetheless. It's all about the art and the characters, the character development. Every character, they're not cookie cutter. Every character is completely different from each other. They all speak different from each other. They have different personalities and so forth. And I'm very character driven, so you got some good characters, I'm all in. Flip through another few pages. Here we got some guy from the future. That he's one of the guys that rides like pterodactyls. They're here to trap the girls. They want to get the girls for, I'm not going to spoil too much of the story like I said, but they're here after them. And to get away, they're bouncing back and forth through time, trying to escape these guys, right? Now here's Irene. They jump to the future, year 2016. Here's Erin, and she's now old, right? She's like in her maybe what would she be, in her late 30s maybe? And she's driving home from work, as you can see her right here. She has another mundane routine. As you become an adult, life becomes routine, right? You have your schedule, be at work at this time, be home at this time, pick up kids at this time. So sometimes, she's nagging about that stuff, how it gets boring. And when she was young, it was spur of the moment, a lot more fun, a lot more adventurous. As she's thinking about all this, these three kids are in front of the road, and one of them is her younger self from the future. So shit just got interesting. Just got some spice in her life. You know what I mean? Like now she's like, holy shit is out of the ordinary now. It can be good or it can be bad, because at this point she's kind of like, what the hell's going on? So it's not necessarily a good thing. Maybe she wants things to be predictable and safe, right? So I'm not gonna tell you more about the story here anymore, but I could tell you this was totally a love letter to the 80s. And it's the writer, the artist, letterist, everybody just talking about nostalgia. Like, oh, remember iPod back in the 80s? I mean, Apple back in the 80s. Oh, remember this, remember that. And they just throw it in the story. Remember the arcades? They throw it in the story. Remember dinosaurs? In elementary school, they throw it in the story. It's just them having fun with the story, and the story itself not really having a direction, right? They're just throwing everything but the kitchen sink here. Like, you could tell they were really nostalgia heavy about their childhoods, and And I thought that was real fun. I really enjoyed it because they're pointing out things that I also remember. I'm like, oh, I remember this or that, right? So it's very cool. I like what they did there. It was kind of just them talking about life, and I showed in the extras at the end. They show themselves as kids and just talking about what their favorite video games were, their favorite comics, and so forth. So this was basically these creators talking about nostalgia and their childhood. So yeah, if you like anything about the 80s or 90s, go ahead and pick this up. This is gonna bring up it's gonna reference a lot of pop culture stuff, and the characters are fun here as well. The main draw for me was probably the art. I really enjoyed the art. I think that's what stole the show for me personally. So yeah, hopefully this helps you make a decision if maybe you wanna pick this book up or not. In case you were on the fence, or if you were on the fence of what format, I think this one has the covers if that's what you're looking for. The spine, the build is really good. The papers are a little thin. They're almost like magazine style, maybe a little thicker than magazine, but they're serviceable. That you don't really see through the other page too much. They're as good as nowadays how thick the Marvel omnibuses are. This is just as thick as that paper, maybe even a little thicker. Of course, it's not hardcover, so that's the sell on the omnibuses is that they're hardcover. But other than that, I think the build for what you're paying and for it being a paperback is really good, and you don't get a lot of gutter loss. I mean, look at this. You get very minimal gutter loss considering how thick the book is. So yeah, other than that, if you guys enjoyed this video, hopefully you guys hit that like button. You know, it helps out with it helps the algorithm and so forth. And if you want to see more videos like this, go ahead and hit that subscribe button. That way it'll keep you updated on your feed next time a new video drops. Okay, other than that, I'd like to just thank you guys for taking some time out of your day to check this video out. Hopefully, if you were on the fence, it helps you make a decision one way or the other. And I'll check you guys out next time.